1, back to the long section of the long track. It's Keith Gardner on the inside, Isaacs on the outside. No clear lead yet, although Gardner picks up a lot of momentum out of turn 3. Downhill to turn 4. He'll put it out in front of the Marley Ford machine over the last one.
Well, you know, Keith set the fastest recorded qualifying time, and it has a new track record now on the long track after its qualification run here tonight. Should have about the fastest car in the field right now. Coming in, leading the point standings and earning the front row spot. He also will have a $500 bonus coming to him in addition to the championship if he comes away with the feature event win tonight from Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool Company by virtue of being the fastest qualifier and winning the feature event. But he has to win it first. We'll find out what happens right now as he owns about a 5-car lane separation between himself and Joe Williamson Sr. as they cross the start-finish line and move back into turns 1 and 2.
Now a lot of room starting to opening up between your leader and the second place running number 11 of Joe Williamson Sr. We'll call it about 6 car lengths as they shoot out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. It's Gardner out of front, Sr. running in second. Chuck Winters in third. It's number 69 of Bill Kimmel Jr. in fourth. And Roman Isaacs rounds out your top 5 in that number 4 car.
Going 6th on the field, Jim Bartley. If Bartley can hold on and have a good finish here tonight, he will no doubt take away the Louisville 4-Wheel Drive Rookie of the Year award for the Winston Bush late models. Going 7th on the field, Larry Metters. At 8th, it'll be Buddy Fannin. 9th to Frank Kimmel, and rounding out the top 10, Calvin Crane. The race leaders move out of turn number 2, down the hill, and into turn number 4.
Going to take some time to get adjusted to the new motor scheme. He's totally changed his outlook on his racing machine. Looking very sharp here on this final race of the regular season for our Winston Bush late models. Around the back of the lead, out of turn 2, down turn 3. Back to the start-finish line. It's Keith Gardner showing the way, sitting at a very fast pace so far this evening early on.
He sure is, Dean. He's looking for his 4th consecutive championship in the late model competition here at Louisville Motor Speedway. The number 98 Barley Ford sponsored automobile moves out of turn number 4, collects yet another lap now with 22 to go here tonight. He's opened up about a 6-car lane separation on the rest of the field. And sorry to see the number 66 of Charlie Glotzbach. A lot of front end damage done to his car, and it looks like, yes, Glotzbach is headed to the pit area.
Glotzbach off and on quite a bit throughout the night. Sorry to see him go down so early this evening. 21 laps remaining right now as Gardner is just setting a blistering pace on this long track here. It's no secret that he likes this long track here as he has set the new track record earlier this year. But nonetheless, he is setting it on fire right now as he is now distanced about 12 more car lengths over himself and the number 11 of Joe Williamson Sr.
Back at third, Chuck Winters has a great battle going on with Bill Kimmel Jr. as they move bumper to bumper onto the front straightaway, followed by Roland Isaacs in car number 4. They're back into turns 1 and 2.
It looks like the number 95 of Fred Williams. Around the back of the knee, and he'll slow off the pace quite a bit. Gardner now moving around the number 19 machine there, and Johnny York putting him around the field as we have 18 laps remaining of this Winston Bush late model shootout. It's the Gatorade 30 tonight for our Winston Bush late models, and Gardner hits them all out in turn 3.
Bill Kimmel Jr. has taken over 3rd place now from Chuck Winters, who runs at 4th. Roland Isaacs rounding out the top 5. Jim Bartley at 6th place. Larry Metters goes 7th. At 8th, it'll be Frank Kimmel in the number 68, and then Buddy Fannin as the race leaders move out of turn number 4.
Out of turn 4 now. Watch it, going out of spin. It's Frank Kimmel in turn number 4 as his car just lost momentum coming out of that and looped it around. That's going to bring out the red flag as he is sitting sideways with the driver's door facing oncoming traffic. So that brings out the red flag here with 16 laps remaining. Kimmel just lost the handle coming out of turn number 4, looped his car around about a quarter of the way and sat there facing the oncoming traffic with his driver's side door exposed, and that brings out the red flag on racing here at Louisville Speedway.
So the red flag comes out as the car number 68, Frank Kimmel, former ARCA Rookie of the Year, 2nd place in the point standings this year, has spun the 8, seemingly the fastest car out there tonight. We'll bring them around for the restart. Green flag's out, and they're off into turns 1 and 2. Joe Williamson will take over the lead as Chuck Winters pulls to the outside of Gardner. Kimmel's underneath Winters for 3rd. It's Joe Williamson and car number 11 out front as they head for turn number 4.
Back here with you at Louisville Speedway, where we are 60 laps away from the finish. The restart has is now the number 11 of Joe Williamson Sr., who has jumped out to the lead.
Battles at third place right now between Bill Kimmel Jr. and the number 8 of Chuck Winders. Keith Gardner has settled into a very conservative second place running right now, as he had opened up somewhat of about a 10-car lane separation on the rest of the field before the red flag period. He has now allowed Joe Williamson Sr. to lead this race as he rides along at second place. They're out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. 14 to go here tonight.
That is the third into the fourth corner, and Bill Kimmel Jr. picking up with that advantage as he pulls that number 69 machine around. The number 8 of Chuck Winders sending him back to fourth. Roland Isaacs holds on to fifth. Larry Metters now up to sixth. Looks like the number 53 of Joe.
Trouble in turn 3. Dean Donahoe, a bunch of flames from underneath the double zeros of Dean Donahoe as he has brought that car to a rest in the third turn area. He quickly stops the car, uncinches the seat belts, climbs out of the driver's side window, and just as he does, the flames have somewhat extinguished themselves, but it looked like a small oil fire underneath the number 00 of Dean Donahoe's machine. The red flag is out and the safety equipment is headed for the turn 3 area.
Our fire officials also on the scene as they extinguish any remaining flames underneath the 00s of Dean Donahoe. That was a big ball of flame that it erupted into, so as Frank pointed out, more than likely some kind of oil fire underneath his racing machine.
We'll check that, Dean, as our video camera monitors in. We're getting a close-up picture of the third turn area. It looks like it was a bunch of fuel that possibly leaked from Dean Donahoe's car. My guess is possibly a fuel line came off, or perhaps the fuel pump perhaps broke on the car, spewing the racing fuel, high octane at that, onto the hot racing headers underneath the car, which was possibly ignited the flame at the time. The track officials right now laying down some speedy dry underneath. This time with Williamson on the inside of the front row, Keith Gardner on the outside. We'll find out who takes over the lead when the green flag comes out. Both Gardner and Williamson have very fast race cars here tonight. Field comes up through the gearbox, coming out of turn number 4, and the green flag is out. They're off into turns 1 and 2. It's Williamson who gets the jump out of turn number 2 as they head for turn number 3. Right behind him now is the number 69 of Bill Kimmel Jr. and the number 4 of Roland Isaacs. Gardner on the outside of Williamson. Kimmel will come up to second as they come down the front straightaway. Roland Isaacs and Larry Metters tangled going into turns 1 and 2. It's Isaacs' car who spins around, was collected by another automobile. We may get the yellow flag the next time around. Buddy Fannin also stuck down in the first turn area. We remain green flag racing now. 12 laps remaining. They're into turns 1 and 2. Gardner on the outside of Kimmel. Gardner lights up the tires coming out of the second turn area, swings around the outside of Kimmel. He'll take over second place. Kimmel back to third. Larry Metters goes fourth. At fifth, it'll be Jim Bartley. They're down the front straightaway and into turns 1 and 2 with Joe Williamson Sr., the race leader.
Joe Williamson Jr., his machine running back in the middle of the pack. He's got a lot of problems on his machine as his hood is about halfway up in the air. A lot of sheet metal damage to him. Out of turn number 4, back to the start-finish line. It's the number 11, Joe Williamson Sr. leading them on. Keith Gardner is right behind him, and then right behind him is number 69, Bill Kimmel Jr. You are tuned to Kentucky on Race Channel. This is WTMT Louisville.
Joe Williamson Sr., the race leader in car number 11, moving over to turn number 4. The battle's at second place. Bill Kimmel Jr. pulls along the inside, takes over second. Larry Metters gives Keith Gardner a tap there on the back bumper, brings him a little loose coming out of turn number 2. Gardner holds on to third place with Metters going forward. Jim Bartley rounding out the top 5.
Banging going on in your back of your pack top 5 cars here across the start-finish line. We're 8 laps away from the finish. It looked like Gardner was going to try the inside of Kimmel there for a minute, thought the better of it as they head back towards the turn 2 and 3 area. Out of turn 3, downhill to turn 4 is still Williamson Sr. leading on.
Okay, as they come out of turn number 4 and across the start-finish line, 7 to go, and it looks like Keith Gardner, still running very strong at third place, has maybe had a problem with the car as he is not able to get up with the race leaders now, as he may have some minor damage done to the left rear quarter panel on his machine. He remains at third place, though, as they come across the start-finish line in single-file formation and head for turn number 1 as Bill Kimmel Jr. tries to duck underneath Joe Williamson Sr. They're back into turn number 3.
They run bumpers shortly there into turn 2. It's your top 4 cars all in a single row coming out of turn 4. Getting ready to put number 39, Ron Phillips, a lap down here at this moment. We're 5 laps away from the finish on this 1994 season event for our Winston Bush late models. Around the back of the D, it's Williamson leading them on. Metters drops throws off the pace just a little bit as they come down and swing out of turn 4. Jim Bartley still holding on to 5th place, but he's about 10 to 12 cars behind that 4-car front pack.
Top 4 cars swing onto the backstretch area here at Louisville Motor Speedway, with Joe Williamson in car number 11 continuing to set the pace. Right on his back bumper, though, it's Bill Kimmel Jr., who looks to the outside. Going into turns 1 and 2, remains in single file. Now Gardner takes a look to the inside of Kimmel. Kimmel ducks down to the inside, heading over to turn number 3. Gardner taps the brakes and drops back in line. Over to turn number 4, it's still Williamson out front as Lenny LeGrand heads for the pit area.
Gardner seems very interested in around the Kimmel machine. All he has to do is sit pat. He's pretty much got the season wrapped up for his 4th consecutive time, but he would like to advance himself, no doubt, here in this event as he is continuing to charge hard on that back bumper of the Kimmel machine as the white flag comes out.
White flag's out. Race leaders are into turns 1 and 2, getting bumper to bumper behind Calvin Crane, heading for turn number 3. Joe Williamson Sr. in car number 11 out front looks for yet another feature win here at Louisville Motor Speedway. Bill Kimmel Jr. across the line at 2nd. Larry Metters and Keith Gardner were side by side for 3rd place. That doesn't matter. Gardner gets his 4th consecutive title.
Number 25, Jim Bartley, finishes at 5th on the field. That sews up the Louisville 4-Wheel Drive Rookie of the Year honors for Mr. Bartley, as he'll take home that trophy for this 1994 racing season. But once again, your track champion for 1994, his 4th consecutive win, the number 98 of Keith Gardner, their season title holder.
Collecting the feature event victory, car number 11, the Copiers Plus Kroger Automotive Pipe Fitters Local 522 Racing Chevrolet from Chavley, Kentucky, Joe Williamson Sr. On to the front straightaway, car number 98. Collecting his 4th consecutive Winston Busch late model title here at Louisville Motor Speedway, the driver of the Barley Ford, Ensign Gas Grill and Fireside Shops, and Commercial Credit Racing Ford Thunderbird. Let's hear it for Keith Gardner.
All right, thank you, Frank Scott. Well, that pretty much